What if I asked you if you wanted your lifetime earnings as a teacher upfront or you want it just like normal every year? What would you say and why? That's what I'm going to talk about today as I do a series of videos on wealth inequality because it's such a big problem in this country. And I think that people don't understand big numbers very well. And that's because they're hard to understand because you can't see them really. And so I'm going to make a couple of videos about big numbers and put it in the context of money. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so this is a picture of $100 bills or $10,000. So then this is 4 times that amount of money or $40,000. So that's what that looks like. And just for reference points, because I like to put things in the context of real world kind of reference units so that I can make sense of them. The average cost of a new car in the United States as of May 2019 was about $37,000. So we'll just say $40,000 for the ease of use. So about $40,000 is the average cost of a new vehicle in the United States. Okay. So if you need like a visual point for that, a Toyota 4Runner is probably about $40,000. So think about a nice, with a little bit of options, 4Runner, it's about $40,000. That stack of money is equivalent to that. Those are two different reference units, but they mean the same thing. Now let's think about a teacher salary. So a teacher salary in the US on average is about $60,000. Now, taking into account that some high cost of living places make a lot more and some low cost of living places make a lot less. And also the teaching force might be skewed a little older at this current time in history. And so let's just say that on average, teachers make $60,000 a year, although I know a lot of teachers make a lot less than that a year. So that's those 6 stacks of $10,000. Okay. So we can think about that. So remember the first 4 stacks is kind of like the average cost of a car. If you had 6 stacks, then that's equivalent to 1 year of a teacher salary. And other pertinent information for just me putting things into perspective is that teachers tend to retire around the age of 59 based on historic data. So we can kind of think that they probably work for about 36 years if they start at the age of 23, which is pretty common, I would say. Okay, so this is that 6 $10,000 bills, and that's the equivalent to 1 year of a teacher's salary. She looks very happy. So over her lifetime, she would make 36 stacks of those. Again, we're assuming that like that's the average over her lifetime. I know some years it would be less, some years would be more, but let's just say on average, $60,000 a year for 36 years. That's a lifetime earnings of a public school teacher in the United States. So that adds up to about $2 million, a little over $2 million over a lifetime is what you would earn as a teacher. And I do remember doing this when I was in the classroom and saying like, how much money will I earn over my lifetime? And I was like, oh, about $2 million. And it was surprising to me. I don't know why it was surprising, but it seemed low for a lifetime of work to only make $2 million, but maybe it's just hard to think about what you would make over your lifetime. Okay, so this is a representation in terms of stacks of $10,000 bills, or just you can think of it as about $2 million lifetime earnings of a teacher, which is 54 4Runners, which makes sense because you can buy more than one, like one in a piece of a 4Runner a year on your $60,000 a year because they only cost $40,000. So 54 4Runners, if you didn't use any of your money for lifestyle expenses and you just wanted to use it all in 4Runners, you could buy about 54 of them. Okay, so now let's say instead somebody said you could take that money up front. Instead of getting paid $60,000 every year, I'm going to give you all that money up front to do with what you will. But you still have to work for 36 years, but we're going to give it to you up front. And you're like, okay, cool, I'm going to put it in a vault. But this vault is going to collect interest, and maybe the vault is actually stocks and bonds. That's fine. So at a 4% rate of return, which is actually quite low compared to what the stock market's been doing over the past few decades, I think 8% returns is quite reasonable given the past performance, although, it's risky. So say a very conservative 4% gains on your money. So yearly, that would be $86,400. So what that means is that you can spend $86,400 every year and you will not touch your little vault of $2 million. So that $2 million stays safe and snug, and you're just pulling out the interest and spending the interest. So as long as you spend less than $86,400 a year, you're doing fine. Your nest egg is protected, And actually, in reality, we know that like you're probably growing your money because the stock market does better than 4%. So if you want to put it in terms of forerunners, it'd be about 2 forerunners. So if somebody gave you the option of saying, do you want your money upfront or do you want it like yearly? You would definitely want to say upfront, invest it, and then live off the interest, because assuming a safe withdrawal rate of 4%, you should be just fine as long as you don't spend more than $86,000 a year. So it's kind of mind-boggling to think about how much money $2 million is if you have it in a lump sum versus if you're making it over 36 years. And so this is kind of the crux of the issue with people having so much money. If you amass a great deal of wealth and you have it all together at once, that money does a lot of work for you and is making you a lot of money in a way that it doesn't amass if you're getting it over a lifetime of work. And so in the next video, I'm going to highlight just how big it is if you say have $1 billion in the bank and what that buys you. You can think about that, and I'll visit this issue again next time.